Michael O'Hill coming up. But in the meantime, while I give you the full name of his book, I'm going to be playing this song that he sings. He nailed this song, and we're going to find out from him. You know, we're going to see what's going on. The music, the books, all these good things. But I know you probably won't believe it, but this is him. Here he goes.
Who said these eyes were not supposed to cry? Who said this heart was not supposed to break? Who said this love was not supposed to hurt? Nobody told me I'd be hurting over you. I lay my life on the line, baby. I never questioned the signs, maybe I should have. But listen to my heart when you left me the first time. And if an angel told me, I wouldn't believe. But if you let me down easy, baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. God knows I love you from the first time. But when I think of it, then you will never be mine. I surrender my life. I gave it all I could, and I would do more if I could do more. But you played me like a fool. Until you love someone like I love you, you break your heart and you feel just like I do. Then you say, let me down easy, baby. Baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby. Baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Who said these eyes were not supposed to cry? Who said this heart was not supposed to break? Who said this love was not supposed to hurt? Nobody told me I'd be hurting over you. I lay my life on the line, baby. I never questioned the signs, baby. I should have listened to my heart when you left me the first time. If an angel told me, I wouldn't believe. But if you let me down easy, baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again.
Yo, a good music of Jam Radio, them a play for you. I feel the vibes and no one is me, I'm crying to you. Of Jam Radio run the avenue and lay over and over again. Yeah, man, Prophecy Jah General representing the half Jam Radio.
All right, that was the voice there of Mr. Michael Hill. Mr. Michael O'Hill, now a singer. We do have a very, very special guest in the house. And it's been a long time coming. It's been a long wait. So I know that you're all geared up to talk with this brother, to, just to meddle in his business a little bit, to find out about his book, to find out also about his, I know we're not here to talk about the music, but I just played Let Me Down Easy for you earlier. I know some of you may be saying, what? So now you go from this beautiful voice now to the book. So we want to make a comparison today. We want to see between this beautiful voice and the book, which one is your keepsake, or you're going to take both. I do believe that he's good at what he does. He has always been good at what he does. So let's see, what's going on. So without further ado, I do want to take this time to welcome a very, very special guest to AfJam Radio. His name is Mr. Michael O'Hill. Mr. Hill, good evening to you and welcome to AfJam.
Good evening, Diana. How are you?
Great. Excellent. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And the listening audience, they don't know that we go way, way back. We go back to the silly you, silly me, let me down easy days.
They don't know. They just don't know. How they say to the South, you better ask somebody now.
But those were some great years. They really were. And it's good to talk to you and hear from you again.
Yes, sir. Indeed it is. Now, Mike, you are now an author. And the name of the book is, of course, The Measure of a Man's Dreams, Goals, and Reality. But before we get into the book, there's so much to you. There's so much about you that, people need to, the listeners need to know. And by the way, we're recording this interview, and we do have an AfJam radio page. It's just a brand new page. So what we do when we do our interviews, we always go back. Sometimes we do replay them on the radio. We always replay them, especially when, people might say, can you replay that interview for me again? But mostly we have an AfJam radio YouTube page where we always upload the interview. So people who didn't get a chance, if they didn't get a chance, can always go back and listen to the interview countless times. So if you are listening, just go to the AfJam, AFJAM, and radio, 2 separate words, on YouTube. Just look it up and you will see the blue symbol. It says AfJam Radio, Final Radio. Just subscribe to that for us if you don't mind. And then we're going to get right into it. So Mike, I could tell them so much about you, but I want you to do the honors. I want you to introduce yourself to the listening audience. I want you to tell them, who is Michael Hill? Just an introduction, and then we can dive into the meat of the matter.
Okay. Well, Michael Hill, I have lived in Charlotte, North Carolina all my life until the past 4 years. I'm recently married to an amazing woman, Donna. We live in Dallas, North Carolina now. I really never heard of Dallas until I moved here. But native Charlottean, lived there all my life. Years ago, I was in a rock and roll band for a while, and that's probably where the voice came from. From there, I worked all of my life until 5 years ago. I just retired. I was not even thinking about singing again, although singing has always been my passion, until I ran into you and you would not release me from singing. So, long story short, that probably to me was one of the most important periods of my life, when you encouraged me to come to 60 Bar Studio, and we recorded Silly You, Silly Me, a song that you wrote.
Yes.
From there, we actually went into the video of Let Me Down Easy. So those, to me, were the most important years. I have 3 kids, 5 grandkids. My kids are grown. My son and I actually have a podcast that we've been doing now for maybe 8 months called Ask Pops. Now that I'm 70 years old, he's trying to pick my brain, going back in the time and just talking to me about life as it has been over the years. So I'm enjoying doing that. So I'm just a guy now that I'm to a place in my life, Diana, where I'm really enjoying life. And that's kind of where the book came from.
Wow. Wow, wow. So, I mean, that is beautiful. I heard you say something that you're 70 years old, and I don't know if my ears are itching, but there is absolutely no way that, you know, the picture that I put up, that's the man. And yes, when I look at the video on YouTube, Ask Pops, there's no way that's a 70-year-old man, and there's no way this is a voice, both the singing voice and the speaking voice of a 70-year-old man. How do you do it?
Well, you know, Diana, when we recorded Silly You Silly Me, I was 64 years old, and you told me the same thing. You said, there is no way. So what has happened, my book actually came as a result of my life, journaling, a certain thing. So my book is a reason I am who I am, how I look the way I look, the things I do. If you read the book, you'll see me.
Okay. All right. The measure of a man's dreams, goals, and reality. First of all, tell us how you come up with the topic, and then we're going to delve some more into the book.
Okay. Well, actually, you kind of helped me with the topic when we used to do our little small videos on trying to build men up, man under construction, those kinds of videos. And I mentioned to you, I said, well, Diana, I'm going to write a book. I really feel like I need to write a book. So I'm struggling with the name. And the first thing you said was, how about the measure of a man? And so that never left me. And what I did was I began to ponder that for years. And I came up with dreams and goals and reality, because as a man, sometimes we lose our dreams with family and with work and with responsibilities. And after we get to a certain age, all of that goes out the window. And so the book title came as a result of, what is the measure of a man's dreams? What is the measure of a man's goals? What is our actual reality once we grow up at 50 or older? And so it made me go back and not only look at my life, but look at lives of my friends, my co-workers that were around the same age that I was. And I realized that they had lost those realities. And that's where the book title came from.
Okay, that's awesome. I didn't even remember. Now that you're saying it, I remember having that conversation with you. But wow, I'm so thankful that you know that you kept it, that it stayed on your brain, it stayed in your mind, and you kept it, and you've added to it and turned it into something beautiful. That is great. That is great, Mike. I must commend you for that. So, a man at 50. Or a man at 40 years old, does he still have dreams after he's married, or he may have gone through certain struggles? He may not have the accolades that he has always wanted, but here he still has the fire, the passion still burns within him. Now he has wife and children to maintain. Where is that goal in the life of the man, or the life of men across the spectrum? And also, what guidance, that's two questions in one, what guidance or information or instructions that the book provides in that realm where the goal is concerned?
Well, what I found, not only with my life, but friends, co-workers, is that when we're young, Diana, in our 20s and 30s and 40s, we've got passion, we're in shape, we feel good about ourselves, our family loves us because we're the breadwinners. So it's like everything is working the way it's supposed to, generally speaking. But what happens after we get to a certain age, and especially in today's environment with technology and all those things, when I was growing up, men were not as technical as things are today. We were mechanics and construction. We were painters and yard men and things like that. And you see very little of that today. So most men my age look at their lives and say, well, what am I good for now? What can I do now? Because I'm at the age to where if I'm a mechanic, I can't really get down under the car because I'm out of shape. I'm overweight. I don't eat right. So my vision vision for writing the book, like I said, it started out with me journaling.
We lost you right at journal. You were talking about the man can't get down on his knees. Could you continue from that?
Yeah, and so what happened is that from the journaling, I used to see guys that were my age that were having issues.
Right.
And so my book is sort of like speaking to a friend and trying to encourage him. I have chapters in my book, very simple chapters, less than 50 pages long. I talk about fitness.
Yes.
And one of the things that I tell men is when no one's around, just you, go stand in front of the mirror, undressed, totally undressed. Take everything off, stand in front of the mirror, ask yourself the question, do I like the person that I've become? Just that alone. And most men, if they were honest, would say no. And my question is, well, what happened? And let's do something about it. So I deal with that in chapter 1. Chapter 2 talks about health. Fitness is what your body is like. Fitness is just how you look. Can you go upstairs and downstairs? Health is more of what you put in your body. So those are the very simple things that we have to get back on top of in order for us to have the visions and to feel like doing those things that we really need to be doing. So the book is such a simple book. I talk about style. Most men, when they get to 50 years old, they really don't care how they dress.
Wow.
But if you have a spouse or if you have a significant other, they care how you look. When you go out as a man, especially an older man, we should be the one that's setting the example.
Wow.
What has happened to the elders? We need elders. And so I consider myself one of those elders that want to show the younger generation how things should be, how we should live, how you should be respectful, and all those just simple things that I put in my book that as men over 50, we just have let slip.
Okay, beautifully said. Well, one of the things I want to ask you as you were talking about, these goals, and when they were at a certain age, they have lost the vim, and they have lost all the fire, the things that make them who they were supposed to be from jump. In your dealings with men 50 and above, do you find that it is easy to break past that psychological barrier to say, hey, your stomach is way out there? I know you're not going to say it like that, right? But to bring them into that reality that, listen, your skeletal makeup is just so small, and everything else that's added. How do you get those people, in your own way, in your own words, to those men? Because they say the older you are, the more stubborn you get. That's what people say. So how do you, in your daily dealings, have you ever met a man that you try to help him or try to get him to see past that barrier that you are 40 going 50, but you could do better? What is that conversation like when you're having that with that person?
Honestly, Diana, as men, especially that old, we're stubborn. We already know what we need to do. We already know what changes we need to make.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a man to listen to another man to make those changes. Yeah. And that was the reason, like I say, I wrote my book, because reading my book is like a friend talking into your ear.
Yes.
And trying to encourage you to go to the next step.
Yes.
And you can read it in your privacy of your own home.
Yes.
And you can make changes without anyone really being able to speak into your ear to make changes. Because as friends, I have really good friends, and I can suggest things to them, but it's only when they are ready to make change that the change will happen. So I have one friend that actually told me just today that he's actually doing a workout that I suggested for him.
Wow.
But I never knew that he was going to do it until he actually said he was going to do it. So with men, it's kind of a fine line. You can encourage them, but I felt like my book could be read in the privacy of their own home or wherever they are, and they can make changes as they were ready to make changes.
Awesome, awesome. Miss Tavia Foster, who's listening all the way from over there in Ontario, Canada, she says, you're speaking like my brother. She says, men, you better listen up. So, thank you so much, Miss Tavia Foster. Thank you for that. Now, I want to ask you, dreams, yes, they can read the book. Yes, they can. But what is it like, or can you say, for a man who hasn't, as I talk about self-actualization, he hasn't been there? And I'm talking to you, this is a hypothetical situation now. If a brother comes to you, or if someone becomes your friend, and they have not, you see dreams in them, you still see potential in them, but for them, it's a dismal road, they don't have that kind of vim and vigor. Do you think that you are able to kind of coach? Because I'm getting somewhere with this question. You think you'll be able to kind of coach men in that way to help them realize,
Yes.
that, hey, okay.
Yeah, I really believe that I'm a coach at heart, but what I would say, if there were men that are interested in even going down that road, the first thing that I would ask for is commitment to the journey.
Okay.
Because we start and stop so many things, Diana.
Okay.
And when we stop those things, we come up with excuses that I didn't have the time or I don't have the money. But if you get commitment that I'm willing to try, that's the first basis. And I really believe that at some day, some point, some way, that I'll be coaching men. And probably the book is the start of that, because I really believe that men have a responsibility, especially older men. Our younger generation, our heroes and who we look up to are people that they will never, ever meet, like sports figures and movie stars and people in music. They will never meet these people, but they buy their clothes, they buy their music, but they need people that they can touch and see every day. So there's so many men like myself that has a community that really needs them to step up.
Awesome. That is good. So for the men who are listening across the world, this is just one of the questions that would come later, but I just want to throw it in now. For the men who are listening across the world, or even let's start at home. For the men in Charlotte, North Carolina, and if they're saying, I need a buddy, I need someone to help me see myself. Is there, for example, like you mentioned community, is there like a community for real, or is it something that you're working on? Because I do believe that what you've made a very, very strong point. And I think that, when an older man sees another older, or should I say mature man, sees another mature man, and he looks good, they take notice. People are not blind, they take notice. And so are you planning to have a physical place where these brothers can come, where these men can come, or are you going to, is something that you're going to do coaching online or so? How do you plan to do it, if ever you plan to do it?
Yeah, well, I actually have not planned to have a brick and mortar place. I'm always open to come and speak to men if I'm ever invited. But in terms of actually starting something, that was not in the plan at the moment.
Okay. You are such, Mike, I've known you for years, and the thing that I like about you, you are direct, you're very strategic, and at the same time, you always know the right words to say, and you have just such a calm personality. I really do believe that with your personality and your book, and I believe that you have a lot to offer, and just to hear how you kind of, break it down a little bit, it makes me really want to become a believer. I haven't read the book yet, but because I know you have, I can read some of your life, meaning that the professionalism that I know that you exhibit when we worked together, and even when during the time of recording in the studio and so on, I know that much about you. So I can vouch for you. This is like a verbal character affidavit. character reference.
We're like family, Diana. I mean, we do have history.
Yes.
Even the audience don't know, but you can cook, girl.
Oh my.
I remember many of those Jamaican meals that you used to fix, Yama.
Oh,
But yeah, we have history, so thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that.
You're most welcome. So now we talked about dreams. Now we're talking about goals. Here are men, I think I mentioned it already, right? But sometimes people's reality catches up with their goals, you know, and when they look in the realness of the goals that they're trying to achieve, it doesn't match up. You know, like for example, some man maybe you've gone through a divorce. You might think that I can't start over. You know, at this age, this certain age, I will not be able to find love again. You know. To start over, what does starting over at 50, 60, what does that look like for a man who is going through that phase of his life? Can you shed some light on it as it relates to your book?
I can shed some light as it relates even to my personal life, Diana.
Okay.
I was married. My first marriage, I was married for 37 years. That's a lifetime.
Wow, it is.
3 kids, 5 grandkids, and long story short, for reasons that I won't really go into detail, it was better for me to leave the marriage.
Okay.
But at the end of that, I was able to take care of my mom the way she needed me to. And so at that point, I was a single man trying to figure out, okay, how does life start again? So it was about a year and a half. I was single, didn't date, I didn't do anything. But at one point in my life, I was ready to start again. I was ready to date again, which was okay even after being married for so long.
Wow.
So what I did was I actually started going out to meet people. And, you know, you go on a couple of dates and then you say, no, that's just not what I'm looking for. So when I decided that I would wait on God, Yahweh, to send me who I needed, immediately after that, I made a decision on a Friday that, you know what, I'm just going to wait. That next Saturday, I met my current wife on a hike.
Wow.
The first time we met, it was probably 10, 12 of us, and it was a hiking group, and it was her first time at this particular group, and we all hiked, and so as we were going up the mountain, we just continued to just small talk, and everybody was talking, but eventually it was just the 2 of us talking.
Wow.
I saw her that day, then I saw her again the following Friday. Long story short, I knew that was my wife. I just knew it in my heart, and after about a month, I proposed to her, and we've been together 4 years.
1 month?
Oh,
my God.
You can start again, but you want to do it right. You don't want to sleep around and just be out there because your person is there, but you've got to pull back and allow God to bring that person to you. You hear that all the time, but it's really true.
Amen. It's true. It is true. Mike, you know, this is you know, people like the juicy stuff about people's life. Tell us, in a nutshell, what does that moment feel like, that knowing moment, that moment of knowing when your eyes met hers and, you know, the smile begins to grow from the little smile mark of your mouth, trying to pass your ears when your heart flutters. Paint it for us. Give us a description what that knowing moment feels like, because a lot of people miss it. You know, a lot of people say, "I'm not sure. I don't know. He's cute. She's cute, but I don't know. What does knowing feel like?"
Diana, I think what has happened, entertainment has stripped us of feeling. Before I met her, I watched certain types of TV. I like sports and things like that. But when you get into a lot of the movies that are produced now and a lot of music, that becomes what we think love is.
Yeah.
That becomes what we think feeling is.
Right.
But we really do have a true heart, not the one that beats with blood, but the one that just totally makes our just fingers tingle and all of those things. It's really in there, but it's been so long since most of us have experienced that we don't know the feeling again. So first of all, we've got to understand that there is a feeling of true love, and it starts in the heart. So it was something about her that made me feel complete. It was like I saw myself in her. You know, we all have our patterns, and we like certain things, we are certain ways, and they say opposites attract.
Yes.
I beg to differ. I think we attract who we are.
Yes.
And I think I attracted the female version of me.
Wow. Say that again, because I love it. Say that again. I love it.
I really believe I attracted the female version of me, and she attracted the male version of herself.
Wow.
She showed me something that we have in Charlotte. I guess they're all over. If a person likes poetry, or if a person likes puzzles or hiking, there are groups of people that do that, and they're called meetup groups. And so after we got together, she showed me a photo that she saw me at least a year before I even met her. We were all at a meetup group that enjoys going out to different restaurants.
Are you
we happened
kidding?
to be at the same restaurant together, and we took like a group picture.
Oh, my goodness.
She actually showed me that picture. She said, when I saw you, I was interested in you then, but I didn't know if you would talk to me, so I never said anything.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is like a dream. This is like, like you're waking up and you pinch yourself because is it real?
Yeah, it's actually real. And like I said, with entertainment and the things that's in our world today, they strip us of true feeling.
Yes.
And that's just so sad, but it's true.
Yes. Yes, we're living our lives the way the song says. We're calling our beloved the names that the song says we should, other than baby darling. So that we find ourselves going down, in spiraling down instead of climbing up and to build each other to the next level. That is such a beautiful story. One of the listeners again says, speaking. Okay, she says, agree with what you agree that we're often better the second time around. We tend to know more and work harder. Lessons learned and take it into the next round of our life. Sound authentic, my brother. That's what Miss Tavia Foster said again, and she's listening all the way from Canada. And that, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful, Mike.
Well, thank you. It's just my heart. That's just kind of what I feel. And like I say,
yes.
I just believe that men our age, we haven't been tainted with as much as what we see in the world today. We know what it means to work hard. We know what it means to love. Back during the time we grew up, when you were married, you stayed married. That was the commitment that you made.
Right.
But now, even there are just as much more divorces now than they ever have because people have no commitment and they have no stick-to-itiveness. Right.
So, oh my goodness. Now, Mike, when you fell in love with this beautiful wife of yours, tell us, you were past 50, past 60, correct?
Yeah, we actually been married for just 3 years.
3 years. Okay, and you're awesome.
In late 60s. I said, Diana, I told myself I was not getting married again.
Wow.
I was just going to be single.
Wow.
Because it's hard to find true love, real love.
Yes.
And I just didn't want to fake it.
Yes.
I didn't want to send the wrong signals or the wrong message. As a man, it's our responsibility. When you choose a woman, you make sure that you really choose her. Yeah. We've had too many men that just want to run around and play around and hurt women women are emotional.
Right.
And if they think you love them, you're into them, and then they find out you're not, that hurts.
It does.
So I wanted to be a true man, and I said I was not going to get married until I met her.
Awesome. And congratulations on that. I have to give you a hand clap there, Mike. Congratulations on finding the love of your life, really and truly. Now, let me ask you, when we talked earlier about dreams, goals, and reality, and when you sum it up into the measure of a man, let me ask you now, earlier we looked at some of the things like, some of the things, for example, a man's dreams that has not been fulfilled, his goals that aren't met because, of course, these dreams were never fulfilled, so therefore they don't tie into his goals, and his reality seems different. Now, the lifestyle that you have always lived, even though you've divorced and you've gone through the pain of divorce and so on and so forth, but still you never let up on yourself. You maintain your health, your fitness, and so every time you looked in the mirror, you wanted to make sure that the man you saw looking back at you was really what you wanted to see. Is that how it was for you?
Oh yeah. After my divorce, I had to look at myself and say, okay, who are you? Mm-hmm. What man are you? And I dealt with myself in fitness. I wanted to make sure I maintained myself. Fitness to me was a way of really meditating and relaxing and getting my thoughts out. Although it was hard work,
yes.
Even today, I still work out 4 or 5 days a week.
Wow.
Even after the fitness part, I had to look at how I was eating because I was single now, I was binge eating. Just eating, it was like comfort to eat. And it wasn't always good food. It was like fast food. And I had to step back and say, do I really want to put all that in my body? Do I really want to start having issues with my body? So I had to get on top of that. Even with religion, Diane, I've been in churches. Not a church hopper, but I've been a part of a church somewhere for over 50 years. Wow. I even had to step back from that and question a lot of the things that I was hearing and living.
Wow.
So I had to go back and do some work in that area.
Yes.
I had to do some work as far as meditating and not letting all the bad thoughts in the past and the hurts and all those things. So I journaled a lot.
Wow.
My book is actually pages from me journaling to myself.
Wow.
That's how the book came about.
Wow. And the beautiful thing about that book, you said something that I've always said here on the radio, that men are not made of stone. Just because a man has muscles and his voice is big and he's strong, God gives a man his tear glands, his tear ducts, emotions, just like, he has emotions just like women. And I believe that men do not express their true self. They do not allow themselves to come to light. And that is the reason why you find that men who are probably over 50, over a certain age, they are so callous on the inside because they have never really expressed themselves or allowed themselves to cry, allowed themselves to feel pain, allowed themselves to show vulnerability. And I do believe that those are some of the building blocks in, that a man can cultivate within his own self that would help him to be able to be a Michael O'Hill. Because, go ahead.
Yeah, Diana, it's like we were not allowed to cry. We were not supposed to show emotion.
Right.
And that was one of the worst things that could ever happen to a man. A man that's able to cry and show his vulnerability also shows his strength in that.
Yes.
But we've never been really taught that. Most men, even men when I was coming up, we were raised in single mother homes. There was not really always a father in the home.
Yes.
So we were never taught
Yes.
how to really be a man and go through all of the steps of being a man. So that's why I'm glad that I'm able to share that with my son and with my grandkids.
Yes.
And, you know, they call me Paw, and they tell me, say, Paw, you ain't going to never get old, are you? And that's a compliment.
And I believe them. I believe them. The measure of a man. Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to learn how to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's something that we were never taught.
Yes. The Measure of a Man's Dreams, Goals, and Reality, written by Michael O. Hill. Mike, do you have the book with you? Is there a particular page or chapter that you would like to read for the listeners? I want them to get an insight into the inside of the book, so they can kind of, and then you're going to tell us where the book is available. We're going to talk a little bit more, about that. And of course, I'm going to ask you, I know you might not want me to, but I'm going to ask you to sing me one little line of a little song somewhere, somehow. But
all right, well, why don't I go to the introduction and read just a little from the introduction.
Awesome.
And it said, we have 3 important periods in our lives as a man. What we dream or envision as a child to become as an adult. Mm-hmm. The second thing is what we become when we are an adult. Mm-hmm. And the third period is the opinion of our lives of who we have become as an adult. There's an old saying, life happens while we are making plans. Mm. And I believe that's true, is that we, as a child, you dream of doing certain things and becoming certain things and have certain things. As we get older, whether it's in school or whether it's in college or whether it's on our job, we start making those goals to have those things that we thought about and dreamed about when we were growing up. What happens is, at some point, we really look at the reality of our lives and we ask ourselves the question, did we achieve what we really looked for and what we really wanted? Mm-hmm. And so my book, I believe, goes to the very basics of what a man is and deals with, in order to be successful, first of all, you got to be fit, because if you're not fit, you're not going to do but so much. Mm-hmm. If you don't feel like going, you're not going to go. If you don't feel like doing, you're not going to do. I also deal with the simpleness of health, how we eat, because I have friends now that actually give themselves insulin injections because they have high diabetes. I have friends with high blood pressure and their own blood pressure medication. I have friends that have had amputations because they are not doing the right things for their bodies. So I try to deal with things that help a man to get on top of who he is so that he can achieve those goals that he needs to achieve in his life.
Beautiful. 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 And Mike, I'm telling you, the way you read that, what I am picking up, I'm really encouraging men to get a copy of this book. Sometimes when you're in your private space without having, I'm talking to the men now, when you're in your private space without having someone come in your face and tell you ABC, but when you read this book, it cuts without, wounding you. And that's what it is. Gentle. It's gentle, but it's very precise. And then it would cause you, based on the introduction, it will cause you to really look into yourself. And I can almost guarantee that this book will give you the type of energy, the type of vibration that you're looking for to make the change in your life. This gentleman at 70, which I don't know which 70 it is, or maybe it's another time frame, but trust me, he doesn't look like it, he doesn't sound like it, he doesn't talk like it, he doesn't behave like it, and he doesn't have those, aged illnesses, because he's telling you how he has lived his life. So for the men out there who are listening, you want to achieve longevity. It is simple. You change your mind about the way you see life. Don't just when you reach 50, 60, you think that, that's my grandkids and I'm going home to die or to retire and just wait for the road to call up yonder. This is a man who is living life to the fullest, and you can too. You. One of the things I want to tell the audience, I remember when I did my book, The Conqueror's Quest, there was a poem in there called "Redefine Me" that you.
Yes.
You want to tell them about that?
Yes, that poem changed my life when I was going through my first divorce. I read that poem. I bought a copy of the book, and when I got to that poem and read it, it totally spoke to me to the point I asked you to make me a poster of it.
Yes.
You actually made me a poster, and that poster stayed on my wall for at least a couple of years. I read that poem every single day, and it gave me the strength to keep moving.
Yes.
That I was not defined by someone else. I was defined by myself. So thank you again for that. It was amazing. And it definitely was the kickstart for me being what I am now.
Amen. Amen. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful that, you're here healed and whole. And I know your wife must be a very, very satisfied, happy woman.
She tells me all the time.
That's good, Mike. That is so hard. I'm telling you, this is such a beautiful moment right here. And for men if you are listening, and I know you are, you have a chance. Mike, where can they find the book? And before I get to that, there's something that I want to tell you. When I was just listening to you reading that first paragraph. And I'm not giving you instructions or anything, but what I hear, because of where we are now, with technology and all of those things, Mike, it would make a great audiobook. It's like a motivational piece it's like a mantra that men could listen. And, there's something about when you read something, it's very effective. But when you hear something, it causes let's say, I'm not talking about something bad, but they do have the same effect because pain and happiness come from the same place. They come from the same place, right? So when you hear something, and if you were to make an audiobook out of that, or you were to use that, however way you want to do it, so that the men who sometimes they might feel like, to actually go and read it, they feel compelled. But when they actually listen to your voice, the way you read it, you're not schooling them, but you are coming from a place of experience, and and based on the information, I really believe that it will trigger something great in the lives and the hearts of these men. So I'm going to encourage you to do an audio version of the book, because I really believe it will go very far.
I will consider that for sure.
Yes. And you know why I say that? When you look at motivational speakers like Les Brown, and when you look at all the others, it is that something that they say, and that book has that something in it that is going to cause the man, the man in them, the person in them, to respond. And of course, they can have the book as a keepsake, but the audio piece, I think, would be dynamic.
Well, thank you. I definitely will consider that, Diana.
Yes, sir. Yes. So tell us now, Mike, for people who are listening, if you're just joining, if you're just logging on, my name is Diana Wright, and my very, very special guest is singer and author Michael O'Hill of the book, The Measure of a Man's Dreams, Goals, and Reality. Mike, if they want to get a copy of the book, where can they get it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the book is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you just go to your search engine and type in The Measure of a Man's Dreams, Goals, Reality, several online opportunities come up where you can purchase your book. It is actually less than 50 pages, less than $10, because I wanted it to be a book that most men don't read, honestly, Diana, and especially if they see a thick book, they're not going to pick it up. But this book is so small, it is not intimidating.
Awesome.
So, like I say, it's less than 50 pages, less than $10. Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, just type in the name and it comes right up.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. So listeners, there you have it. There's no reason for you not to get it at all. The Measure of a Man's Dreams, Goals, and Reality. And the author is Michael O'Hill. Right. Michael, Michael, and the O, of course, for the middle initial, and Hill, Hill. So there is absolutely no reason for you not to get that book. Mike.
Yes.
What next? What next after this book?
Well, actually, Diana, my goal is to write 3 mini books for men, a trilogy of books.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that they're actually listening and reading the first one.
Right.
I'm not sure, excuse me, I'm not sure that I'm through with music.
Right.
Although I have not pursued it. So I know definitely I want to do some speaking at some point to really talk to men and encourage men. So I would say, and the podcast, my son and I are doing the podcast that we really enjoy. We'll probably continue doing that as well. So I'm still going to be busy for the next maybe 15 years or so.
Wow. Awesome. You know, one of my listeners, Mike, says, "Oh my goodness, I was just going to ask if he would consider an audio version."
And you just said it.
I just said it.
So I mean, I'm actually signed with the publisher now. I can maybe talk to them and kind of get an idea of what all of that would look like. But definitely, because it came up in the conversation, I'm going to at least look into it and see what the options are.
Yes, and the listeners listening from Charlotte, Judine, she says, "Great, I will be getting one from my husband."
Perfect. I have a little mini commercial that I talk about the book, and I say, listen, if you're a daughter, get a copy for your dad.
Yes.
If you're a wife or a girlfriend, get a copy for your man. If you're a man, get your own copy.
Get your own copy. Go on out there and get your own copy. Mike, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. And I am so happy that at least we knew each other from back then. And during the formative years, I was a part of that experience that, sort of kind of in some way or another cultivated this brilliant idea,
Definitely in a big way, not in a small way, in a big way, Diana. I can assure you of that.
Awesome. So people, the measure of a man's dreams, goals, and reality. You need to know what the measure is. What is your measure? You need to know who you are. You need to, some men, they grow up, they're just men. They never get a chance to be a boy. They never had a chance to be a boy. And even when they were a boy, they never lived like a boy. They have always been racing the clock, trying to grow up. Maybe they were running from something in their boyhood, running from it so that they could be a man. Maybe it is to escape abuse so that you can stand up for yourself. Some men have never gotten the chance. They just know that they are just a male living, and they want it. A lot of our men needs to be repaired. Because of sometimes it is abuse from the home, sometimes it is life itself. So they just don't know how to navigate the waters of life, and within the system, some systemic issues within different pockets of society that tell men you can't be this, you can't express, you can't you can't shed a tear, you can't do none of those things. Men are rough and tough, and so they express themselves in violence and that kind of there. So sometimes society is responsible for that. And I do believe, Mike, that you are going to produce another book and another audio, and I'm speaking this into existence, another book and another audio book and a physical book that is going to help to nurture and repair the brokenness in men. Notice I didn't say broken men. I said the brokenness in men, because I do believe that it can be healed. It can be repaired. So
definitely, every man is a strong man. Sometimes we just go through things. I'll say this and I'll be done. Even the cover of my book has a message. There is a knight in armor with a shield shield and with a sword.
Yes.
But there's a tremendous dragon, fire-breathing dragon,
Yes.
that has the ability to destroy him if the knight will allow it. But the knight has not decided to be destroyed. And as long as a man decides not to be destroyed, it doesn't matter if there's a fire-breathing dragon in his life.
Amen.
He's got his shield, he's got his sword, he's got his armor, and he can fight till he wins. I chose to do that.
Amen. Amen. I love that. And that's a very positive note to end on. Mike, before we go, I'm going to ask you for your social handles and all of that. I want you to sing a song, even half of it, the chorus or anything.
I'll give you a little bit of a song
Okay.
from like a couple years ago.
Okay.
Silly you, silly me, baby. Silly both of us. Silly you, silly me, silly we. Silly you, silly me, baby. Silly both of us. Silly you, silly me, and you.
Oh my gosh. This is not the voice of, listen, let me tell you something. We're going to have to do, a little surprise. We want to see your birth certificate. We want to see all of those things. We want to see it. You have to produce it, okay?
It's been a sheer joy and pleasure, Diana. It just brings back old memories, I tell you.
Yes. Mike, I thank you so very much for taking the time to come on out and to talk with us, to share with us what's on your heart, and also to be a beacon of hope and light for our men, who feel like, hey, this is the end of the rope for them. I'm getting another message. One moment. I think I need to read this one before. Yeah. Let me see what the listener says. A great speaking voice is usually a good singing voice. That's what the listener says. So there you have it, Michael Hill. Thank you so very much, sir. And of course, I do want to also say a very, very pleasant good evening to your wife. You have a great husband, and I'm sure that you have a great wife. And together, both of you are living your best life. So congratulations again on the book. Congratulations on finding love after 50. Congratulations on all the beautiful things that the Creator has in store for you. And Mike, please tell us your social handles if there's anyone would like to contact you for a speaking engagement or to come and sing at a wedding or something. How can they find you? How can they reach you?
The best way to email us is askpops, ASKPOPS 70 @gmail.com.
Okay. Say that again.
Ask, ASKPOPS, POPS 70 @gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Michael O'Hill. It has been a pleasure. And with that, I say a very pleasant good evening to you, and I will take you out this evening with the song Silly You. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you,
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Silly both of us, silly you, silly me, silly we. Silly you, silly me, baby. Silly both of us, silly you, silly me, silly we. You were there all the time, put the blame on me. I shouldn't have let you go, first mistake I made. But I'm a man, understand that a man can be wrong. But I wouldn't be a man if I stayed away too long. My head's turning, my heart's bleeding. I'm here contemplating. Put the blame on me, girl. Put the blame on me. Silly you, silly silly me, silly both of us, silly you, silly me, silly we, silly you, silly me, baby, silly both of us, silly you, silly me, silly we. He makes you happy, oh that used to be me, and I can't imagine him where I used to be. I'm jealous for your love, baby, come deliver me. Please don't do to me what I've done to you. My world's turning and I'm drowning. Have mercy, please. Have mercy, please. Have mercy, please. Silly you, silly me, baby. Silly both of us. Silly you, silly me, silly we. Silly you, silly me, baby. Silly both of us. Silly you, silly me, silly we. You were right there all the time. Put the blame on me. I shouldn't have let you go. First mistake I made. But I'm a man, understand that a man can't be wrong. But I wouldn't be a man, baby, if I stayed away too long. My head's turning, my heart's bleeding. I'm here contemplating, oh yes I am. Put the blame on me, girl. Put the blame on me. Silly both of us. Silly you, silly me, silly we. Silly you, silly me, baby. Silly both of us. Silly you, silly me, silly we.
Wow. My heart is warmed by this. Wow. You know, wow. Michael O'Hill, people, Michael O'Hill. I don't believe you're done with music. I don't believe, I mean, the book is excellent. I love it. I love the, you know, the way you shed light on it. And I love the passage that you read. I would want to read it, you know, even though it's made for men, but I would want to read it. Mike, you are a blessing. You are such a blessing. It warms my heart. Yes, it does. It is now 6 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. That was a for this interview, it's like it's the fastest. I mean, I was just enjoying it because I've known Mike for so many years and we've worked together in the studios. And yes, of course, I wrote this song, Silly You, and he nailed it. And the other one, Let Me Down Easy. And there were others too that, you know, I do believe we're going to still put them out, you know, because this is such a great talent that needs to be in the spotlight. I don't care if you're 110 years old, Mike. And your book, please go on out and get the book, The Measure of a Man's Dreams, Goals and Reality, written by Michael O'Hill. And I'm going to take the other song again, and that's going to be the song that's going to leading us out here this afternoon on AfJam Radio. So don't forget, right, to log on to www.afjamradio.com every day. This is a 24-hour station. So even if you don't hear my voice, the tempo is always on. The music is always on. Motivation is always on. Something is always on to give you a good day, to give you your day a little oomph, put a little oomph in your day. Right? So AfJam is a 24-hour radio station. And then I also want to just say thank you to my dear listeners. Thank you so very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah. And we're only going to get better. I am doing, I'm going to play Let Me Down Easy by Michael O'Hill. And of course, this is the reggae version. We do have an R&B version, but this is a reggae version to show you too that the brother has some skills, versatility and all of that.
Who said these eyes were not supposed to cry? Who said this heart was not supposed to break? Who said this love was not supposed to hurt? And nobody told me I'd be hurting over you. I lay my life on the line, baby. I never questioned the signs, maybe I should have. But listen to my heart when you left me the first time. And if an angel told me, I wouldn't believe. But if you let me down easy, baby, maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby, maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. God knows I love you from the first time. Never when I think of it, that you will never be mine. I swear on my life, I gave it all I could, and I would do more if I could do more. But you played me like a fool. One day you love someone like I love you. You break your heart and you feel just like I do. Then you say, let me down easy, baby. Maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby. Maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again.
AfJam.
Who said these eyes were not supposed to cry? Who said this heart was not supposed to break? Who said this love was not supposed to hurt? Nobody told me I'd be hurting over you. I lay my life on the line, baby. I never questioned the signs, baby. I should have listened to my heart when you left me the first time. If an angel told me, I wouldn't believe. But if you let me down easy, baby, maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby, maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby,
Jam. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How the moments slip by so fast. How the moments. This seems like it's the fastest interview I've done, and it was an hour. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so very much, Mr. Michael O'Hill. Thank you so very much. Thank you, dear listeners. This has been a great one. And I'm going to take my leave of you. This time, I think I'm going to not wait for the train, yeah? Because I'm feeling a good kind, I'm in a good mood, yeah? So what's going to happen now? I'm just going to, I'm going to let that song marinate within my system, yeah? So I'm going to take my bags and I'm going to put on my flats and I'm going to walk to the train station, yeah? So I can have something to, to keep me company as I go out. This has been a great one, people. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday when we do Between the Lines. It's our poetry day. And this is when we play poetry from all over the world. And if you are so inclined, you can send us a poem at contact@avjamradio.com. That's contact@avjamradio.com. And then, of course, you are free to call us if you're within the United States. It's 980-400-1040. And if you are outside and you want to call us on WhatsApp, the number is 704-964-5346 to participate in Between the Lines, our poetry program tomorrow. So then, may the Most High Yah go before you. May He watch over you. May He cover you. May He protect you from danger seen and unseen. May He open doors for you, yes? And if the doors are closed in your face, may He give you the wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding to know that, yes, there are sometimes some doors need to be closed. So, without further ado, I do say, people, have a very pleasant evening. Good evening to you. Take care.
Who said this love was not supposed to hurt? And nobody told me I'd be hurting over you. And lay my life on the line, baby. I never questioned the signs, maybe I should have. But listen to my heart when you left me the first time. And if an angel told me, I wouldn't believe. But if you let me down easy, baby, baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby, baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. God knows I love you from the first time. Never when I think of it, that you will never be mine. I swear on my life, I gave it all I could, and I would do more if I could do more. But you played me like a fool. One day you love someone like I love you. You break your heart and you feel just like I do. Then you say, let me down easy, baby. Baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby. Baby, I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again.
Jam. F Jam.
Who said these eyes were not supposed to cry? Who said this heart was not supposed to break? Who said this love was not supposed to hurt? Nobody told me I'd be hurt. signs, maybe I should have listened to my heart when you left me the first time. If an angel told me I wouldn't believe, but if you let me down easy, baby, maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again. Let me down easy, baby, maybe I can love again. If you let me down easy, baby, I can learn to fly again.
F Jam.